Picking it up from last time. Giggity. My vision began to clear, letting me fully see the boys around me with all concerned faces.
So, you now know exactly who we are.
Diana's the girl you arranged to marry?
Not anymore. Once we left, the arrangement was broken. With no sons to marry off, our dad couldn't go through with the marriage deal.
Let's make another one.
If Diana is here for us, that means she's trying to save her kingdom from being attacked.
That's not true. She wants to rule our kingdom. Having one of us will give her the right to our kingdom, as much as we'd have right over hers.
So she's a gold digger!
Well, with a kingdom like ours, what succubus wouldn't want to marry us for it?
It all made sense. She wanted them so that she could finally take over an imposing kingdom. She knew that despite her powers, she wouldn't be able to fight against their father, so she had to find another way. That's manipulative. Before I could continue, I felt my head suddenly get heavy and dizzy. I gripped my head, mewling under my breath. Oh, what the hey.
I took too much. I'm so sorry.
Rest now. There's no need to do anything more today.
The boy suddenly rushed over and helped me lay back down as my vision was painted in white polka dots. I needed sleep badly. Instantly, I closed my eyes and let the darkness consume me. After what seemed like hours, I finally woke up, slightly refreshed. My body knew that if I slept longer, I'd be up all night, which was not part of the plan for the day. I rubbed my eyes and sat up, letting a soft groan escape my lips in response. Something beside my bed shuffled, causing me to look over. I didn't know what I was expecting. Beside me, sitting in the chair beside the bed, was Matthew, rousing himself up to see me awake. I smiled at him, seeing his slightly ruffled hair and tired eyes.
Oh, you're awake. How do you feel?
Great. Matthew nodded before he looked down at the bed, taking my hand into his.
I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry.
Calm down, baby! Matthew, it's not your fault.
No, please listen. I know that Diana and Malix have come after you because of us, so it's our fault that you're constantly in danger. If I hadn't convinced everyone to come to the human world, we would have never been attacked by Malix and hunted down and brought you in danger and...
Chill! I quickly reached over and put my finger on his lips, stopping him from going any further. I didn't want to hear anymore. Matthew, it's okay. Just take a breath. I wanted to help you out. I offered to let you stay. Nothing is your fault. I gently moved my hand and coated Matthew's cheek, staring at him with concern. I didn't want him to hold guilt in his mind about this whole ordeal. Diana was desperate and she'd hunt anyone for them. It wasn't his fault. She was desperate enough to hunt them down. However, I grew curious. So, Matthew, you're a noble? Sure am! Matthew looked at me and gave a goofy smile.
I was once, but even if I had the title, I didn't really feel like a noble.
How come?
Well, I was the fourth noble son of the Demon Lord. With Eric and Sam ahead of me in case James couldn't fulfill his duties.
Damien's
There's
youngest!
no way I was getting the throne. So, I spent the majority of my time trying to make my mother happy. She was always unhappy.
It's so weird. Damien cannot be. Come on. Unhappy? How come?
Well, my dad was kind of... well, he married 4 different women.
He's a slut, pretty much.
Each of us came from a different mother, and my mother was the last to be married and bear a son. The thing with succubi, though, is that they get jealous very easily.
If she was the last, that means you're the youngest. What the fuck? So what happened?
The other wives got mad and scorned each other. It wasn't violent, but we never ate together for a reason.
Family dinners were very awkward.
My mom, though, was too proud to have jealousy. She was the last woman the Demon Lord married, so she felt important. She felt that because he stopped marrying, she had the charm to stop his marrying spree.
Matthew let out a small laugh, a hint of depression lingering in his breath as he let out.
But then the Demon Lord took another woman and she bore him a son outside of wedlock. Damien.
Okay, makes sense now.
The wives, including my mother, were furious. In response, the Demon Lord had a spell cast on them, turning them into spiritual orbs.
That's horrible! It's really gross. Matthew nodded, pressing his lips together in both agreement and sadness.
They could never have physical form, and they lost all their powers. They became slaves trapped in the Demon Lord's castle. However, they were kept alive to make sure their sons grew up to be competent demons.
I'm sorry. Matthew gently shrugged, letting a small nostalgic smile grace his lips.
She taught me how to be a demon now. Not just a demon, a grown adult demon. I read books, I learned strategy. everything that James was doing under the Demon Lord's watch. Only, I trained with just my mother. She wanted me to surprise the Demon Lord one last time, and maybe take the throne away from James.
Why? Matthew then reached into his pocket and took out a small mirror.
Here, I'll show you.
I thought he was just gonna check his hair, like, yep, looking good. Matthew handed it to me and sent a wave of blue mist into it. It began to glow until it enveloped the room in a bright light. When the light had subsided, I was back in the main hall of the demon castle. I looked around, feeling unable to move, but I could practically see everything as clear as I had before. Hello. However, my focus gathered on Matthew, sitting on the throne as if it was his and reading a book. For some reason, Matthew reminded me of James at the moment. He seemed engrossed in his reading each word and absorbing each meaning. Him on the throne surprisingly fit him. There was something about him.
This is an easy read.
Reading's easy. That's really creepy, actually. Stop! A sudden cry, however, echoed through the halls, forcing Matthew to stop and close his book and stand from the throne.
Mother?
That's really creeped me out. I looked around, confused at the cry and where it was coming from. It seemed to just echo through the room without a source of direction. That's creeping me the fuck out! Matthew sighed and placed the book on the armrest of the throne before he cupped his hands together.
Fly and comfort her, will you?
As Matthew opened up his hands, a small bird with blue and purple feathers perked up from the hiding place. Matthew smiled before releasing it into the air. I watched as it flew off and glided through the open archway. The sound of its flapping wings faded into the air as it flew farther into the castle.
Come on.
I could tell that Matthew was holding his breath. He must have cared very deeply for his mother. It was incredibly sweet. At last, the sound of the crying stopped, making Matthew release a happy sigh.
There we go.
Matthew cracked his knuckles in approval and reached for his book. However, before he could even graze the cover of his fingers, a sound of pattering entered the room.
You, foot son, away from the throne!
Fuck you!
All right.
Ah, what am I going to do with you? You're a child.
And you're a pig! Matthew glared at the servant as the servant quickly brushed the throne off, like there was dust all over
The
it.
next time I see you on the throne, I will inform the Demon Lord. Understand?
Yes.
The demon servant continued to brush over the throne before knocking the book from the armrest. Matthew froze, and the servant quickly patted over and picked it up.
What is this? A book? Why do you have it?
I'm reading it, shit.
I was reading.
You read? You don't need to read. You're never going to need knowledge for anything, fourth son.
Wow, you're an asshole. Saw Matthew's eyes twitch, making me grimace. The servant sure had a mouth. It was annoying at the very least.
I'll just take this book and bring it to the heir himself to read. He's reading faster than the library can provide.
But that's...
Raestro's next area of study.
The servant began to walk away, ignoring Matthew's glare of anger. The servant stopped, however, to look at Matthew to pound one more nail into the wound.
Let's face it, kid. You have the smallest bones, the smallest frame, and the least amount of power among the noble sons. You'll never be like them, so just stop trying. Use your incubus powers on others who have a child fetish or something.
Oh. Okay. The demon looked at Matthew up and down before rushing off wherever he came from. As the servant disappeared, Matthew summoned a knife and chucked it in his direction where the servant left. The knife embedded itself into the hard stone beside the door of the hallway.
I hate that guy. Disgusting pig fawn.
Matthew walked over and sat on the foot of the throne, clearly aggravated. Eventually, Matthew stopped the magic, lowering the mirror and holding it in his hand before looking at me.
I had hoped to show you my mother, but I guess the mirror wanted to show you something else. Sorry.
At least it wasn't an embarrassing time. The servant is terrible.
Tell me about it. He served the Demon Lord almost his whole life. Ugly pig fawn.
Jesus. That skipping. Matthew laughed while I laughed at the insult. It was good to see Matthew in good spirits despite what I was shown and what was happening around us. Still, it was sad to see that he was considered a child of the noble sons. Where's my speaking skill? He could read books of knowledge what his brother hadn't read, and he seemed caring. It was insulting to see someone tear him down like that. Matthew smiled at me before pocketing the mirror.
Whatever. Thankfully, we got out of there, so I could be with my brothers like a normal family. No hierarchies, no politics, no pig funds, nothing.
Just regular pigs. I smiled. It was good to see. It was good that Matthew saw the positive side. However, his face slowly turned to sad, and before he looked down at the bed. Matthew?
You've done a lot for me and my brothers. Sheltering us, letting us continue to live here. It may not seem like much, but for us it's everything. But I don't want you to get hurt because of us.
I watched in speechless silence as Matthew lifted his head, his eyes full of almost hopelessness.
That's why I'm sorry.
Matthew lowered his head in shame. I couldn't help but feel my heart squeeze within my chest at the sight. He truly cared. Matthew let out a small sigh before looking at me with a new smile. He hid his sadness well, but I could tell he was still upset about the whole ordeal.
Alright. You need to sleep and I need to make dinner. I'll wake you up when dinner is done.
Matthew gently pressed me back down on the bed, resolved in what had happened. Gimme! Gimme! Couldn't let him leave without doing something! I quickly pulled Matthew down to me, lifted my head, and gently kissed him, softly laying a hand on his cheek to keep his face close. Matthew stared in deep surprise before hesitantly kissing me back, pressing my cheek and slightly melting at the touch of our lips. A soft sigh escaped his lips before he slowly pulled away with a smile. He gently licked his lips, making me go red in the face at a simple gesture. He let out a satisfied sigh before nuzzling my forehead.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Jeff the fucking killer. And with that, he stood up and left the room, leaving me to rest as per his request. Sorry, I got confused there. I smiled to myself before relaxing into the mattress. I suddenly tensed up. I felt majorly uneasy. Something wasn't right. I felt it in my core. She must be here. The thought of her in my house infuriated me beyond belief. I had to make sure she was not here. I rolled out of bed and quickly left my room, wandering the halls and listening closely. She was a demon, but I was listening very intently. There was no way she would have been able to sneak up on me. I know you're here. Where are you, bitch? I could feel myself growl. It wasn't a matter of fear that she'd take away the boys anymore. Her very existence had lit a fire of rage within my gut, which only grew with each day as each day went by. This feud was getting on my nerves, and I knew it would not end well for one of us. I wasn't going to lose to that demon bitch.
Leave me alone!
Get away from me! My heart stopped. Diana was with Matthew. My mind flew into slow motion, playing fake images as of Jana trying to seduce Matthew in my head to further fan the angry flame inside me. I instinctively followed Matthew's voice. I was approaching the grand lobby and followed the commotion in the dining room. The sound was echoing from the kitchen, so I peeked inside while hiding around the corner. Matthew, grab a knife! Wait, you can just grab one out of your pocket. Ha! I almost growled at the sight. Matthew was holding to one side of the kitchen's island counter, with Diana holding the other side, looking at him with a smile.
Oh, come on, Matthew. Don't you like games? A game of tag sounds so fun.
Not with you. Now go away!
I'm hurt. Wounded, truly. Did I go too far?
You went too far when you came here and attacked her.
You went too far when you came here and attacked Butt Bluff! Damn it!
Pity. And here I thought I was going to offer you the chance to become something better than just a simple incubus.
I'm very cold. Hold on a second. Yeah. Turn my heater on. Sorry about that. It's cold in here. It's not hot. What was Diana going on about? More than just... You okay there, heater? More than just an incubus? Is she insane?
How about becoming the next
What's wrong with
Demon
you?
Lord?
What's wrong with you? Sad? Stay still. You silly thing. There we go. I froze. What did she mean becoming the next Demon Lord? The boys weren't in the demon world anymore. They had no claim to the throne anymore. Matthew stared at Diana, which made me worry.
The next Demon Lord?
Well, currently, I'm the contracted bride to the heir to the throne. Since the throne is open, it's available to any son of the Demon Lord's line. Think about it. You'll gain the throne, the land, and a bride to continue your lineage with. Doesn't that sound like a perfect life for an incubus
Jesus!
like you? You'll
Sorry about that. Let's try that line again, shall we? No. Oh, there we
think
go.
about it. You'll gain the throne, the land, and a bride to continue your lineage with. Doesn't that sound like a perfect life for an incubus like you? You'll show your father and mother how grown up you are, that you're not just some little cute boy people can take for granted.
I could feel myself gripping my fist tightly in anger. How dare this girl try to convince Matthew to return to the demon world? He ran away from it. He didn't have to go back. He shouldn't go back. My mind began to wander, imagining him saying yes. He would leave and the brothers would follow him back to bring him back. They'd be trapped because Diana would make sure they'd never leave. Matthew would be the new demon lord with Diana as his queen, and I'd lose him.
Like I would believe you.
It's like, yeah, fuck that.
You don't need to believe me, Matthew. You just need to come back home with me. I promise, you'll be respected as you were supposed to be.
I'm not falling for it.
Fall for what? The truth? The truth is that your brothers still treat you like a child, even though the demon world is far behind you. The truth is that your little human love affair is fleeting. She can never see you as a man, just as a little boy who wants to grow up.
Stop it!
Oh, Jesus. I started as Matthew, chuckled a handful of knives at Diana. Chucked a handful of knives at Diana, who ducked and dodged them with ease. They dug themselves into the tile wall before fading away as if they didn't exist.
You dare attack me?
I'm not going back. And that is final!
I could see Matthew's muscles tense and flex, wanting to attack. Diana, the girl in question, however, took a deep breath and looked at Matthew with a pleading look.
You won't even return to your mother. She's been crying ever since you left.
Do not bring her into this!
Don't you dare bring my mother into this! Matthew glared as Diana circled the island
She
towards him.
begged me to bring you back. She wants you to get what you deserve. The throne.
I don't believe you!
Matthew then walked away from Diana, heading to the fridge to start dinner. Okay. So are you staying, or... As if she wasn't there, Diana stopped and leaned against the counter.
She'll never love you, you know.
I don't mind. I care for her.
I care for butt plug.
The human girl? You must be joking. A human like her can't possibly provide you what you need. She's a human. You're a demon.
Felt the urge to storm in and shut her mouth. It would give away my position, but I was growing extremely tired of Diana. Set that bitch straight! I decided to be assertive and quickly stepped into the room, rushing to be in front of Matthew. Diana and Matthew looked at me in surprise as I glared daggers at Diana. Get the fuck out.
Well, little human. You're awfully nosy in business that doesn't concern you.
It does concern me!
Does it? I don't think a human would understand the importance of this affair.
You're asking him to leave to be someone he doesn't want to be. That's not going to happen.
Oh? And what makes you so sure about that?
Because I love him! Diana stared in shock at my explanation. Was it not what she expected? I didn't care what she expected. I wasn't going to lose the man I'd come to love.
You love him?
Yes! Yes, I love him! Diana's lips twitched, the edge curling into an amused smirk as he stared at me.
So what? A human's love isn't enough to understand the situation. A demon can never reciprocate human feeling.
To both of our surprise, however, Matthew stepped forward and put an arm around me, pulling me close to his body.
I love her.
We love each other! I saw the confidence Diana had shattered in her eyes. As she stared at Matthew at his words, I could see the struggle in her face to try and find some weakness in Matthew. In me. Anything.
A demon love a human? Impossible.
You heard me. I love her, Diana. I'd do anything for her. And she cares for me more than anyone in the abyssal plane ever had. More than you'll ever know. She makes me feel like the adult I'm supposed to be. And there's nothing you can do to change that. Ever.
I'm a big kid now. Diana took a step back, physically feeling the sting of Matthew's words in her chest. She had lost. I could see it in her eyes. Diana's eyes grew dull as she glared at me and Diana and Matthew. It seemed almost uncharacteristic of her, yet it was something I wasn't surprised to see come from her face.
Very well. Fine. Valet.
And with that, Diana faded into the ground purple pentagram crossing her arms and almost looking upset. Matthew and I were left alone. Are we gonna do it in the kitchen? Oh my god! Left with the silence of the room. I finally let out the air I was unconsciously holding in my chest, relaxing from the ordeal. Matthew stepped to me and held me gently, surprising me.
Are you alright?
I'm perfectly fine, I guess. I nodded in response, unable to speak so immediately after being surprised. Matthew let out a sigh, relaxing in the embrace. I gently placed my hand around him, returning the embrace slightly. I could hear Matthew's heartbeat. He held me close in his arms, and I felt safe beyond words. Are you okay?
Of course I'm okay. I'm holding you.
Oh, this is so cute. I looked up at Matthew, surprised at what he said. Matthew blushed, moving a strand of hair from my face, and looked down at me.
You mean so much to me. You make me feel like more than just a kid. I've never felt this happy before with anyone. And here you are giving me every reason to love you.
Oh my god, that's so sweet.
I love you so friggin' much.
Oh! You cutie. I stared wide-eyed, blushing like a maniac. Was this real? No way. This couldn't be real. Was Matthew confessing to me? Confessing his love for me? Matthew gently caressed my cheek, staring into my eyes with a loving, almost hopeful expression. The warmth of his hand invited me to nuzzle into it. Closing my eyes, this wasn't a dream. My heart was pounding hard enough where I was sure Matthew could hear it. Matthew gently leaned in, closing his eyes. He stopped, however, remaining just a mere few inches. I don't know that word. Away from my lips. He wanted... You know what? I want to learn that word.
Self-voicing enabled.
Okay, read it for me.
Matthew gently leaned in, closing his eyes. He stopped, however, remaining just a mere torturous inch. Self-voicing disabled.
Just a mere torturous inch away from my lips. Good! Learning! I've never seen or used that word in my life. That's weird. He wanted me to show my feelings for him. He had left himself over me to kiss him or leave him empty. The power I had was unbelievable. Kiss that bastard. I loved him and wanted to give him exactly what he wanted. I gently leaned in, letting my lips finally touch his gingerly. Matthew let out an almost surprised gasp against my lips before wrapping both of his arms around my waist, pulling me close to him, moving my arms up and around his neck, feeling the kiss between us deepen into heated height. My chest was pounding, making me feel and see fireworks in my mind. Matthew was everything I desired. It was the man I wanted, demon or not. It was all so supernatural, to fall in love with someone so quickly. Maybe it was the sense of magic I was thrown into. Maybe it was the Cupid playing with my heart, the way I found myself melting at the thought of him being with me. For myself, coiling my fingers through Matthew's hair, making the man holding me softly tremble at my touch. He gently nibbled on my lower lip, asking me to deepen the kiss between us even further, as he teased him before finally opening my mouth slightly for him. His tongue gently danced with mine. Beautiful. As one of his hands slid up my back and cradled my head, he gently leaned my body back, making me cling to him as Jesus, I just lost the power to read. As the heat of our kiss rose higher and higher. Gently, though, Matthew slowed the kiss down and pulled away, staring down at me. His eyes burned for me, wanting me to melt and buckle in his arms. I could feel myself melt already. Matthew opened his mouth to speak, but as a very small blush ran along his cheeks, he was reduced to shy silence. I stared as he tried to find the words to say in my eyes. I knew exactly what he wanted. He didn't need energy, though, right? Are you?
No, I just...
I stared wide-eyed, feeling a blush on my cheeks grow. He didn't say anything more, but I knew what words he... What would have followed if he continued? Jesus, he wanted me! I was stunned. What was that? Was I that appealing to him? Was his passion really that deep for me? Matthew gently nuzzled my forehead, losing the blush and finally being able to speak.
If you don't want to, we don't have to. I mean, it's up to you.
Bro! Ruining the moment. I could feel my mind go numb and parade the idea. A moment with an incubus. He was a demon of... Excuse me a moment. Okay, notifications are off. He was a demon of sex, the purest form of lust and desire. My world would rock and I would enjoy every second of it. At the same time, I was indeed inexperienced. Diana wasn't wrong when she claimed me to be innocent. Did I want to give that innocence to him, especially this early? Found myself forgetting the words yes and no. What could I say to him? I knew that I wanted, but how to say without breaking the moment? Seduce me. Bastard. Yeah, slut. I couldn't believe the two words that came out of my mouth. It was so corny. It made the most sense to tell him yes. I needed him. I wanted him. those two words must have made something in him finally break. We're doing it in the kitchen! Matthew gently wrapped his arm around me and went back to kissing me, passionately. You know, anybody could walk in, really. I could feel energy was about me, making me open my one eye to see blue light glowing around us. Oh no! Oh no! Well, that's a shame. When the light subsided, I was in my bedroom, on my bed with Matthew above me. I stared as Matthew held a look of both lust and love. My heart skipped a beat simply from his gaze on me. This was okay. I wanted to see all of him and give myself to him. I gently guided his head to me, kissing him slowly and bringing him further into my mood. Matthew slid both his hoodie and shirt off and tossed them to the side. Time to do this. Before cradling my head in his hands and kissing me deeply, I felt heat rise in my body, making me undo the tie underneath my collar and release the buttons of my own shirt. Quickly, I removed my shirt and vest, making Matthew stop kissing me and stare in slight surprise. Whoa, I never seen one of those before! I was simply in my bra, but I could feel it blush and bathe my cheeks. My shy side began to fester in my mind. Did I really want this? To undress before a demon? No, this was the man I loved, and yet I felt my innocence drape over me in almost shame. I needed to fight it. I quickly rolled both of us over to where I was sitting on Matthew's lap, staring down at him. Matthew sat up, looking at me with the most sexiest smile I've ever seen. Not the sexiest smile I've ever seen, but, yeah, okay. Whatever works, I guess. We're all just hair. Matthew pulled me close, knowing that I was still shy, and began to kiss my lips over and over. Each kiss was his promise to keep me safe, keep me comfortable, and love me. I kept my arms wrapped around Matthew, taking... What's that noise? Sorry, I thought I heard something. I kept my arms wrapped around Matthew, taking each kiss he gave me, and giving him my own kisses in return. I didn't know if it was the fact that we were both top nude, or maybe I just craved his touch, but I didn't want to let him go. However, as he held me, I could slightly feel the shiver in his hands. Was I his first? He is a kid. You pedophile. He wasn't going to tell me. He wanted me to enjoy this moment, but was afraid of screwing up. His shivering hands showed me his emotions perfectly. As he laid me down and knelt over me, Matthew smiled and finally embraced me with both as something desired. The pleasure between us would be heavenly, and we both go through it together. I closed my eyes and gave myself to Matthew. Okay, that should be the last interruption I get. My body, my mind, my soul, it all belonged to him as he held me. His body, his mind, his soul, it all belonged to me as I gave into his embrace. His kisses and fingers over my skin would forever engrave themselves into my memory as our passion rose to the incredible heights. Our breaths, our moans to each other equally sounded and echoed like a blissful chant. The N is spaced from the E and never. We never wished to end. We kept moving, loving, feeling each... You motherfucker! I hate everything. Get out! Get out! Jesus! We kept loving, moving, loving, feeling every inch of our bodies until we had had enough, and I was enveloped in his embrace. Skin to skin, heartbeats matching, we held each other. In the glow of the aftermath, I nuzzled my head under Matthew's chin as he held me close.
I love you.
I love you too. Well, there you go. Just to hear those words come from Matthew's mouth made my heart flutter to hear me answer, my soul warm in glee. I could feel both of us sink in peaceful sleep together. It was the best sleep I had had in days, and I was happy. I had my love and I had my happiness. My life was simply perfect. When I opened my eyes, I found myself staring into Matthew's bare chest. I blushed but looked to see Matthew still sleeping. His sleeping face made me giggle softly, but the reality of the situation made my heart flutter. I couldn't believe it. I was lying to the man I had grown to love with all of my heart. His warm embrace made me feel safe, and as the tender moment we just shared replayed in my head, I couldn't help but smile and snuggle into his chest further. Unconsciously, he held me tighter, his body giving me more of his warmth. I need a drink. I didn't want to move, but then my core suddenly tightened and made me sit up without waking the man next to me. I felt my legs move to bring me to my balcony window, where I opened the glass and stepped out onto the patio. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, who sat cross-legged on the railing of my balcony, With her glowing red eyes stare upon me, I opened my mouth to object, but Diana stopped me.
Before you get all huffy, I didn't come here to take your precious man away. By the way, how was it exactly? Demons are the best lovers, after all.
I glared. What do you want?
Well, I just wanted to see how you truly feel. You know, without him around to influence you.
What are you talking about?
I'm giving you an opportunity to come clean about these feelings of yours and to give you your salvation.
What was Diana up to? This was beyond crazy. Nothing she had done made sense. Why was I still alive at this rate? What's keeping you from just killing me and taking them?
You are not worth my time.
Not worth your time? Were you afraid something might happen? All at once felt my body being lifted into the air and moved over past the railings, leaving me with nothing but ground below to threaten me with the collision of death.
Oh, trust me, dear. I'm not afraid to kill you. I can drop you right now and leave your body to rot until the morning.
Why is
when the boys would find
Whatever.
you.
I wanted to speak, but the thought of her letting go and letting me fall to my death scared my voice into silence. Dan then chuckled and rolled my body back to the balcony, setting me down gently.
Alas, if I kill you, then the boys would never come with me willingly back to the demon world, and then I'd have to chase them all around the world, or kill them and drag them back. But then their father wouldn't be happy, and blah blah blah. Too much work.
Dana seemed very business-oriented, as if the boys were cargo more than men. It irked me, but she then smiled.
I'm giving you one chance to denounce your love for the demon in your bed, and let me take him and the other boys back to the demon world.
And why, may I ask, would I do that?
There are so many reasons why, actually. There's the reason that he's a demon and you're a human, so you two can never truly have a happily ever after. Then there's the reason that demons truly do not know how to love, despite what he may proclaim. The list goes on and on. The point is, if you give me the boys, I will promise you eternal happiness.
Eternal happiness?
That's right. I have the power to give you anything you desire. Power, men, women, money, fame. Name it, and it's yours. A demon never goes back on their word, and I have the power to obtain anything you wish. Our deal is our contract.
I could only stare in shock. This was a dream. It had to be. However, Diana smiled, an almost genuine smile at me, shaking me to reality of the situation. She would never smile like that.
Don't you wish to be free of your destiny? Your father constantly berating you to become the next CEO of your grandfather's company.
How did you... I was almost floored and surprised. How did Diana know of this? She was succubus, yes, but she could... How could she know anything beyond sexual desire? She wasn't Damien. Diane chuckled and leaned back against her arms.
Just because I play with hearts and sex doesn't mean I don't know my way around the human mind. You happen to be an open book of information, but I digress. I can give you your freedom with ease. It'll be like you were always meant to have it. All I ask is that you hand over the boys. What do you say?
Was I seriously being given the choice? The man I loved for anything I wanted? A demon like Diana was powerful enough, yes. But did I want to consider giving up the man I loved? No. She must have been crazier than I thought. I glared. Absolutely not. Diana sighed and stood up onto the railing. What I wasn't expecting was her lifting me into the air. I tried to scream, but the voice suddenly became locked in silence. What was Diana doing? Diana made me float over to her as she smirked as we just noticed.
Well, if I can't return home with the boys, I might as well return home with the power to fight back.
Diana finally leaned in and kissed me. I shut my eyes, feeling the need to bite her lips, but finding no muscles in my face, listening to my mental commands. What did she do to me? I didn't want to enjoy it, but every single nerve in my body was flaring in excitement and pleasure. She kissed me, felt my energy drain slowly but forcefully from my body. Was she using her magic to force energy on my body? It seemed like forever, but finally, Diana pulled away from the kiss with a smile and a lick of her lips. She lowered me back onto the patio and chuckled. For some reason, even though nothing seemed to have changed, she looked stronger, powerful. It was almost like looking at new Diana. Diana then stepped back on the railing, making me catch my breath in my throat as she took another step away from me. She looked to be simply walking on the night air. Diana smirked at my sudden surprise.
May you never regret your choice, human. If you do, I'll happily come and take it away.
With a flick of her hair, Diana turned and walked away into the night, fading into the darkness like a shadow. I watched her fade away before looking back at the man in my bed. Did I make the right choice? My heart gave a gentle thump, giving me my answer. I did. I'll never regret it for as long as I live. Walked back inside and gently crawled back into bed within the embrace of the safest arms I knew. I snuggled close into the warmth before closing my eyes. I was happy. The rest of the story can almost be passed over. With Diana gone, my life returned to normal with my school and my friends not remembering what happened. It was as if magic never appeared in my world. One thing was for certain, however, Matthew loved me and I loved him just as much. We had promised to live our lives to each other. Yeah. And nothing was going to take that away from us, not even time itself. Our love was so powerful it practically overwhelmed me with joy every time I found him holding me close every morning. To think a demon in love with a human like me, that was unthinkable, unbelievable. It was practically impossible. But it was true. The other boys decided to leave on their own accord. They knew that my future would only need Matthew at my side, so they decided to start their own lives in the human world. Matthew understood perfectly, wishing his brothers the best. Besides, Matthew had proven to be a man by finding someone to care for. His brothers didn't need to worry about him, now that he was caring for me. I felt bad as well for being closer to Matthew than the others, but they reassured me that I was okay, and that they would remain nearby should I ever need them. I was happy for that. They made me promise, however, that I would love Matthew for as long as we lived. That promise was instantly given. But what of my future? Well, that is kind of made for me. Before I graduated, James decided to step into the light of the Anderson Toy Company. And with the help of his demon powers and leadership charisma, he managed to influence not only the entire board, but my father as well, into letting him run the CEO. I was beyond shocked. How James managed to do all of that was beyond me. But when the vote was called, James had taken over the company I was destined to have. He vowed to respect the wishes of the late CEO and help the company become even a grander company. For a demon, it was simple to make a company grand. My grandfather would have been proud to see how James helped it shine. With the CEO position filled, my father had no choice but to let me decide my future, which made me happy beyond compare. No longer would I have the future scaring me into the corner. I could choose my own life and my own. My life, my own, whatever. That being said, I was so scared of where the future was going to take me. What did I want to do? Did I want to help James build the company? Did I want to venture off on my own? Matthew reassured me that he would support me and help me through whatever I decided to do. I was grateful and would never forget that promise. I was happy, and nothing could shake me down from that happiness. One afternoon, a good couple of years after the boys and I had met, I had a moment to myself, so I wandered in my house and took in all that had happened, as if it was all a dream. The demons, the devils, the magic. It was all surreal to believe. It almost frightened me to think it all could have been a dream. But the warm feeling in my heart reminded me that it was all real. The demons, the magic, the love I had. All real. Give me 1 second. Wake up! There we go. I smiled as I held my hands to my chest, releasing in the feeling dancing within my soul. Let out a happy sigh before looking up and seeing where I had wandered to. Realized that I was standing in the dining room. I stopped at the smell of baked goods. Taking a gigantic whiff, I let the smell of sugar and sweets fill my senses. Matthew must be baking again. I tiptoed over and peeked into the kitchen, wanting to know what he was making.
Almost done.
My voice is going very slowly. I watched as Matthew started to decorate an already wonderful-looking cake with blue and white frosting. It looked delicious. I was practically salivating. However, As I watched him, I smiled. He looked so concentrated at his work. It was adorable.
And there! Perfect!
Woo! Matthew stepped back from the cake, allowing me to see his masterpiece. It indeed was perfect. I wanted to taste it soon. Looks amazing, Matthew.
What?
Hi! Matthew quickly turned to me in surprise, trying to hide his cake as I laughed.
I'm not done. I mean...
Matthew walked over and smiled, giving him a kiss before walking around him to the cake. Closer, it looked all the more scrumptious. Jesus! What's this for?
Well, I mean, it's for something pretty important.
Looked to Matthew, raising an eyebrow as he wrapped an arm around my waist. What's it for?
Guess. I'll give you 3 chances.
Or what? What if I don't get it right?
Then the cake is all mine.
I will fight you for that cake. Not fair! Instinctively, I wanted to pull away, but Matthew laughed and dabbed some whipped cream on my nose from nearby decorating spatula.
It's totally fair. Now just guess.
Is it your birthday? Matthew shook his head.
Nope. Second guess.
Is it my birthday? Is it an anniversary? Matthew nodded before I could cheer. Matthew rotated his hand just for me to continue.
Anniversary of?
Totally oblivious right now. I puffed my cheeks. I could memorize facts and lessons, but dates were bad. It was like asking a girly girl when her boyfriend's frat party was. Matthew laughed before he kissed my cheek, making my puffed cheeks deflate.
It's the anniversary of when we first met.
How the fuck am I supposed to remember that? I had practically forgotten. He was right. It had been a couple years since I moved in and met Matthew and his brothers. He threw a party last year for it. How could I have forgotten? Time definitely flew. Matthew smiled at me, making my heart flutter and squeak once again.
I want to celebrate it every year in a different way. Next year will be something extraordinary. For now, though, this cake will do.
I quickly pulled Matthew's head down in my hands and kissed him sweetly. What? With my hand, kissed him sweetly, whatever. Oh! I get it. Wow. Wanting to show my appreciation with a kiss. He stared at me as if his greatest wish had come true. I fought back a giggle at the sight. Matthew gently pulled me to him, hugging me into his chest. I nuzzled into Matthew's chest, hearing his gentle heart beat, memorizing its tempo.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Before I could finish, suddenly the cake, which had sitting silently and peacefully on the counter, exploded into a giant mess. What the fuck did you do? On it, Matthew luckily was quick enough to pull back before we got hit by the flying cake pieces.
What the
heck did you do? I looked at the cake to see a very mischievous little creature standing over the cake, triumphant in what it had done. Oh my god. I began to laugh as Matthew grew red-faced.
Simon Tabby!
Kill it! I quickly rushed over and grabbed Simon, who made a squeak noise in my hands. I was still glinking as Matthew came over and glared daggers at the white doll covered in cake. That little shit fuck! I wanted to eat that cake! To calm Matthew down, however, I stretched up on my toes and kissed him softly on the lips. Oh, right. Apple? Oh, how sweet. Matthew stared, but kissed back, not wanting to let me go without a kiss of my own. Love you, Matthew. Matthew sighed before smiling at me, and finally climbed calm. Jesus. I didn't want to wake up if it was indeed a dream. I felt light as a feather, not wanting to ever let go of this man in my life. There were no words that could describe the emotions within me. I felt joy, happiness, ecstatic, high all at once. Here I was with this man I would be with forever, with a cake I would delight in, even in pieces. I had gained the heart of a demon. No, the man I loved. I vowed to cherish him and love him for the remainder of my days and beyond. Could a demon love a human forever? I knew Matthew would. And that was my happily ever after. And Matthew's cake! Woo! 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 Where the fuck is it? There it is. No, it isn't. There it is. Okay.
Innocence, ignorance. Tell me, did you get your way? Sing your sweet melody. Bear the burden of the choices that you made. Go on, chase the morning with your heart. The worst is over now. You're moving on. 'Cause in the end, when your story's over, then There's a million stories left to write. Be free to explore the life you seek, to embrace the love you carry. Know the choices that you made were right. Inside, don't let the pain take over your life. Soon you will see that you are free. Take the future in your hands now, it's in your sight. Go on, there's no better time to start. Your path is clearer now, urging you on. Don't be afraid, all the fear inside will fade. The trials that you face will make you strong. Fly high, feel the wind blow as you fly. Your journey's not yet over. There's 100 battles left to fight. Be free to be who you want to be. Love, you have just one life only. Know the choices that you make are right. Touch the sky. Your journey's far from over. There's a million stories left to write. Be free to explore the life you seek, to embrace the love you carry. Know the choices that you make